Every Friday at 6 p.m., we are always here bringing different topics about how to create systemic order and how to heal the ancestors so they won't affect us anymore, right? That's pretty much our goal. And oh, before I say the rest,
Let's introduce
welcome
ourselves.
Janet, Janet Altagracia.
And Mayadari del Sol.
Yes,
Welcome to the channel.
yes, definitely. Welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you are following. And for the ones that are going to be joining us today, we are following information of this book that I wrote last year. It's called Alchemy for the Soul: 7 Steps to Transcend Your Ancestors' Past.
And for the ones that don't have it, buy the book.
Yes.
Buy the book.
Buy the book,
Buy the
exactly.
book.
You can find it in Amazon in a paper version and also in Kindle.
Yes.
So, yes. And we see people is joining us already on YouTube. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So welcome, welcome. If you want to say hi, we would love to so we can see your name. We have people there and here and there and there. We are following all the screens. So thank you, thank you. And we have a beautiful topic today.
I like calling them juicy.
The juicy topic today is called Children of Absent Parents and Adoptions.
Oh, that's a
Yes,
juicy one.
yes, it is. Sometimes we don't realize how important is to create order, systemic order. We are talking about the family, right? If there is no order, then love cannot flow. And Bert Hellinger, the founder of Family Constellations, actually used to say that first comes order and then love follows.
Wow, pretty profound, right?
Yeah, sometimes we are looking for love outside, but if there is no order in your life, means that there were no order in your family system. And what we are trying to, or what we are actually doing here, is sharing this information for you to understand the importance of creating systemic order. And as you create that order, you will heal your own reality and you will help heal the past, your ancestors' past, your ancestors who couldn't change that reality, and also the descendants, the ones that will be coming. You will be facilitating the path for the ones coming.
And all those good words, things will be in alignment, things
Yes.
will flow,
Yes.
and you will start living that beautiful, blissful life.
Yes, and actually, you also can recreate your destiny because once you know what you were connected to, how you were attached to this unconscious past that you didn't know about, you can liberate it and say, oh, that's why I couldn't take the next step.
Right,
Yes,
exactly.
or manifest what I wanted.
It is a lot of awareness, and it's really cool.
Yes.
Like a good friend of mine, so it's so cool.
Yes, it is. And we are here doing this service because we believe that when one heals, we all heal. So as you heal and just understanding this information will take you to another level of comprehension of life and what you are doing here as a human in this process of evolution and how you can help. One vez, I'm sorry, I was going to say it in Spanish. Once you understand this and you get to comprehend this process, then you can accept the past as it was and integrate it so you can really transcend it. And in family constellations, of course, it's not just by understanding. We need to go deep to the emotions, to the feelings, what our ancestors felt that maybe today somehow we feel because we replicate their memories, their unresolved memories. Yes, their strength as well, but also those unresolved memories. Yes.
And all I can say, I take a deep breath because some of them are pretty tough.
Yes, they are definitely. So let's do some announcements.
Okay.
Yes, announcements. So the first weekend before we begin, the first weekend of
The
what?
month. The month.
Of
The first,
August? No, we are in August.
September.
I'm sorry.
The
Sometimes
first
I don't even
weekend
know
in that case is
of
prime
September. Yes,
September.
the first weekend of September, we are going to have one of the modules of our training program is about relationships. How to heal your relationship with your parents, with your children, with your husband or wife, with others, with anybody, any
Including
soul,
yourself.
including, of course, yourself. So you need to understand the psychology of what is happening and where
Mhm.
is the disorder, how the disorder is created within the family system that eventually in life is going to be affecting you the way you relate with others, what you expect from others, and what you are expecting, because the expectation is a topic that we can be talking about a lot, since love doesn't involve expectations and it's hard to understand this. And we see this from a different point of view, from this systemic view that can sometimes give you a different way of seeing love and
Mhm.
how to relate with others from that angle. So if you feel called to it, you can go to systemichealinginstitute.com and check on all of those modules. And if you like, you don't have to take the full training program, but you can take only that module. And so I'll be happy if you do, because all you need to understand when it comes to relationships is this that I will be teaching that weekend. It's a Saturday and Sunday from 9 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon.
And it really is an eye opener,
Yeah.
because when you think about a relationship, it's key to everything in your life. So if
Mhm.
you have at least an awareness and understanding and an aha moment of why these things happen, why do I do this, it puts you back in the flow, you know.
Definitely. Yes. Actually, I'm going to read the first part of what we will be talking about today from the book Alchemy for the Soul.
The
By
book,
the book.
by the book,
By
by
the
the book.
book. And it says like this. Bert Hellinger, for the ones that don't know, Bert Hellinger is the founder of Family Constellations. So he says, Bert Hellinger's second systemic principle is respecting the order of hierarchy. Hmm? Once this principle is set in order in the system, it creates a stable structure and flow, and love follows order. Embracing and accepting the systemic order brings better connection and communication with others inside and outside of the system. Yes, so we are talking for the ones following. We are on the second step, and the second step is called systemic the systemic order. The systemic order that has to do with the hierarchy. So let's say the ancestors came first, and then the descendants come after, right? Or the parents come first, of course, and the children come after. And you might say, yeah, of course, that's like logic in that, right? But sometimes there are disorders, energetic disorders. It doesn't mean that, yes, maybe you can be behaving as maybe a father who was absent in the relationship with your mother. And so that could be affecting your life and your possibility to also have a partner.
Mhm.
See? So this is a way of seeing how is that the system has been affected, but the way you are maybe switching roles within the same family system with certain members that maybe were absent. And
Mhm.
specifically, today we are going to be talking about what happens when the parents weren't present, who took
Mhm.
care of these children, because and also adoption, we need to understand this principle and how to create this order when maybe you were adopted, or maybe it happened that your parents weren't there for you emotionally, or also physically. Who took care of you? Because those became your, let's say, your models, but
Mhm.
somehow there is an absence that you must be feeling. You might feel rejection or abandonment.
Mhm.
And besides that, there is no order here, because somehow you see that maybe if maybe, let's say, your grandparents were the ones who took care of you sometimes. And that was my case. I used to call grandma mom and grandpa dad, but they weren't really my parents, my biological parents. So I was honoring them as my parents, but I couldn't really know about this order. And I know many cases where people come and say, "Oh, the second husband of my mother that I see more as my father, because my father wasn't present, so I really don't know about him, and I don't really care. Well, you should,
Right.
right?
And the other thing which I want to talk to
Mhm.
you about too is a question, Maya, when it comes to adoption,
Yes.
especially here in the United States, a lot of times they do close adoption. So that means that the child will never be able to know who her mom and dad is. How would that affect the system?
Beautiful. Let's talk about that one, Janet. Yes. So let's say you were adopted. And I've seen these cases many times. Like I used to know this woman. She couldn't have children, so she decided to adopt one. And but she considered herself the mother, even though the child got to know the truth, because some parents don't even tell children the truth.
That they adopted,
But
yeah.
in this case, she did. And this child had she had a lot of conflict as he was growing up. She and him had a lot of conflict. And the child was blaming her on his own destiny. It's like it is your fault. This child had anger. He had anger towards this adoptive mother, when the mother was really trying to do, have a house and a home and a beautiful atmosphere for this child. So instead of this child connecting to this new adoptive mother, he had this sort of a struggling. And we must understand why. The why is very important. This child in his heart, no matter how much they give him, he still feels I'm rejected by a mother. So if this is my second mother, I cannot trust in this mother, because my first mother, which is my biological mother, didn't want me. So there is a sort of a internal mistrust about women. I cannot trust in women. My mom gave me away. See? And for this woman, it's also important to understand this, because this woman doesn't know it, but this child is carrying information from his system. No matter if this child grew up in a very good environment, a loving environment, this child is carrying a lot of information of rejection, of abandonment, of anger, of resentment, of sadness, of all of these, that if you, as this, let's say, adoptive parent, don't recognize that the biological parents are these, they came first, that's the systemic order, they came first and then you came after. See, and once you honor that, the child can connect better with the new parents. That's how it is. It's very simple. And if you don't know how, thank you, Sunshine is there. She said, I love you, how you explain it. I'm glad you're here
Yeah.
and you're understanding. Thank you for participating. You're saying,
Thank you. Yes.
my brother has an adopted a child, and yes, I see that what you're saying. Yes, I'm so glad you are here and that you are listening to this information. Yes, so what your brother must do is when we do family constellations, we must do this process, because it's an experience where this child is going to feel that maybe her parents, no, maybe no, it happens that their parents in the experience, because there is an emotional resonance of why these parents couldn't keep this child. And usually there is a reconciliation where the parents say, I'm sorry, I couldn't keep you because of the circumstances, because I wasn't emotionally ready for that, because I wasn't financially ready for that, because, or maybe the mother died. Who knows? The cases are like infinite, right? But once in the process of constellations, during the experience, the child feels like, oh, mom couldn't have me, but she had enough love to have me first, and second, to put me in safe hands.
Yes. Now that is a beautiful way to look at it.
Yes. And so if the adoptive parents look at the biological parents and say, I honor you. You came first and I'm second.
Mm-hmm.
And with your permission, I will take care of this child. Without, listen to this word, judgment.
Without. That's key.
That's key because most of adoptive parents tend to judge the biological parents who weren't present for this child.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't about judging what was right or wrong. Maybe these parents, had issues with the law or, or maybe drugs or there are many cases, abuse, all of it. And it's just a lot. We can talk a lot about this. But this isn't about judging these parents. It's about respecting them because they actually did something which was to channel this life.
It's like they gave the best form of love.
Yes, saying yes, just saying yes.
Just saying yes, and making sure that that baby, that child, went into hands of that will protect them. I think that that's the greatest form of love.
Definitely it is. When we get to understand this, energetically, this order is set
Mm.
and everybody feels set.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works because it's all quantum energy. We're gonna call it quantum energy. So no matter how far they are, no matter if this person or this child don't know those parents, no matter if you as an adoptive parent don't know the parents, when you do that energetically, everything is felt
Yes.
and that creates order. And we are here because our intention is for you to understand how the order in the system works, in the family system specifically. Because once you create order in the family system, then it is recreated outside of your family system.
Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
we must reconcile our parents, the relationship with our parents, and the relationships and the disorders that are in the system, so we can flow differently.
Absolutely.
Yes, makes sense,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. So that was the case of this woman that I know, and I also had a case that I had this. There were two sisters. They were, I believe, they were twins, or they were very close together. These two sisters, and once they called me and they say, "Listen, we have to constellate this. We have a brother who was adopted. He doesn't know it yet." And they were already like in their 30s, you know. And so I asked them a little bit about, so how was that they ended up, they already, this system, this mom and dad already had children, so how come they decided to adopt? Well, it happened that the father wanted a boy. They had three women, three girls, and they wanted a boy. So the mother say, okay, let's adopt a boy because I'm not gonna give birth to another child not knowing what is gonna come, right? And so they adopted this child. And then she said, we don't know what it is, but we are all successful. All of us women in this system are successful. But that man, that boy, he couldn't be successful in life. He was dependent. He got resentment. He had a lot of issues, but he just didn't know. He was feeling rejected from the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
abandoned from the beginning. So he's not even aware of his own emotions because he didn't know he was adopted. That was a
Mm-hmm.
secret. See? So in the constellation, when they came, because in the constellation, you don't have to come with your family, just in case you don't know it. We have other people who will be representing mom and dad and the siblings and grandma and all of it. And you might say, but how are they going to know how to act? No, this isn't an act. This doesn't have to do at all with acting. What they do is they feel the emotional resonance of how these members of the family feel and how they connect with each other. And so that's how we can identify where the conflict is. And if it's possible, in that field, which is called the morphogenetic field, we recreate a reconciliation. See? So in that case, it was very amazing that these two women brought their nephew, which was the son of this man that I'm talking about, the
Uh-huh.
adoptive child. And this man, of course, rejected his own child. So this child, who was probably 13, he was already feeling
Mm-hmm.
rejection and abandonment from his own dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we recreated that, he was here present, he was looking, he was just by looking at everything that was happening, not even knowing what was happening, he was crying because he was feeling that feeling of
Mm-hmm.
rejection and abandonment. And we brought him into the constellation, and we actually created reconciliation between him and his dad. And he could see with compassion why his dad somehow abandoned him and how it is that he feels rejected by him.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave him a lot of understanding. This was just a 13-year-old understanding his own truth. That was so powerful.
Yes.
So, how did we create that order in that family constellation work? Well, we um, included and honored the biological parents of this man. And then the adoptive parents, of course, they did that process.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole thing was unfolding until we got to the whole reconciliation of the whole system where everybody was feeling now there is order.
Mm-hmm.
See? Lourdes is saying, what it matters is the love and care you provide the child. By honoring his biological parents and clan, we are recognizing his roots.
Yes.
Yes, Lourdes, thank you so much. It is about recognizing
Mm-hmm.
the roots. Yeah, we must honor that and include everything that comes in there because this child eventually is going to behave in certain ways that the parents, the adoptive parents, might not understand because maybe they didn't raise this child in this or that way. But yes, this child is carrying some information that was unresolved that needs to be healed as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yes,
It gets
beautiful.
juicy. Oh.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have someone in Facebook saying, hi, Maya and Janet. Thank you. From Christina. Yay, Christina. No judgments in all situations, definitely. And it's easy to say it. It's easy to say, but how many? I'm going to ask you a question. How many times have you judged your parents? Because in your perspective, you didn't feel like they gave you what you needed.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So
Mm-hmm.
we tend to judge. And when we judge our parents, we feel that we are bigger than them. We are when you judge anybody, but your parents specifically, when we are talking about the systemic, the family system, then you feel you're bigger than your parents because you I could do it better than you. So there is a sort of a arrogance there and judgment. It's that you didn't give me what I'm giving that to my children. I hear that often. Oh, my children, I give them all because my parents didn't give me.
Yeah.
There is a judgment there.
Yeah.
There is a complaint there.
We all kind of
See?
guilty about that.
Yes, yes, definitely. We all, if we haven't healed our relationship with our parents, we might feel that way. And that is one of the steps, the very first steps that we do in family constellations work.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Someone, Barbarita is saying here, so how do we do when a child of only 3 years has cancer and dies at 10? Well, that's not related to this topic. We are talking about the honoring the system. But that case, first of all, this let's just mm, open a parenthesis. What is it? Parenthesis.
Parentheses. Yeah.
Yes. So we can
Parentheses.
maybe just reply to you, Barbarita, because well, I got to read it. So let's just talk. Let's just open this
Yeah.
parenthesis,
We're gonna do a
and
parenthesis.
we will continue with this. So this person here is asking, how do you do when a child of only 3 years has cancer and dies at 10? Hmm? When someone in the system brings a condition, a physical condition like a disease, like cancer, it could be that this child is showing the whole family system something that the system hasn't seen. Because any disease is showing an emotion that wasn't resolved. And if we talk about cancer, it could be that there is an anger. Somewhat, someone had anger, and this anger couldn't be, let's say, expressed. Maybe it was repressed. So it was repressed that the body has is holding this anger. And then since I cannot breathe, cells cannot breathe in toxic, let's say, environments,
Mm-hmm.
then they recreate cancer. So this child, when you are talking about this, a good way of transcending this memory could be of showing gratitude. It's that you sacrifice your life to show us something that we, the whole system, must see. Thank you for showing me that. Now I'm going to take responsibility to see where this anger is, that you got to show it to me.
Mm-hmm.
See, because the descendants usually sacrifice for the ancestors if they don't get to discover the truth,
Mm-hmm.
if they don't get to unveil all of these unresolved memories of their ancestors.
Because when you think about it, it's like it's in the pain and the suffering, and then people seek, and
Mhm.
they want to understand. So you need to go through that process so that you can evolve it. So that can you think, like, a 3-year old, then he died, but he came with a specific
Purpose.
purpose.
Mhm.
So in that little lifetime, his purpose was to open the eyes of the system.
Exactly. It is important for you to understand that part. It was an act of love,
Yes.
even though it's hard for the mother.
Hmm.
It's so hard, and we feel the empathy, especially because we are mothers.
Hmm.
But also at the same time, it was an act of love to show the system something that must be healed. So,
Yes.
Barbarita, we invite you to, if you have an opportunity, to constellate that. So it'll be actually worth it to find out why your child had to go through that and die. Hmm? Yes. Okay, so let's close. Yes, I know it hurts. Yes.
It's tough.
Yes, it's tough.
And yeah, our heart goes with you on
Yes, our
that.
heart goes with you, definitely. But as I said, if you have an opportunity, constellate this. Go get a session of family constellations. We do one-on-one sessions,
Hmm.
and we do group sessions. See, and see what this child wanted to show the system, because probably he was identifying with one ancestor, and this ancestor who had this repression, this stress, this whatever it was, could be healed. And that process can be done in family constellations.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, Lourdes is saying here, so sorry, Barbarita, sending emerald green healing light to you. How
That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Yes, I so love it that we are in different platforms and we can crisscross all words. Thank you so, so much. All right, so let's talk a little bit about children of absent parents,
Hmm.
right? Because, yeah, there are adoptive children. I mean, yeah, like let's say legally, the
Hmm.
way, you adopt someone. But also, if we talk about this, like maybe mom and dad weren't present for me, which was my case. So my grandparents were the ones who were present for me. See? And so sometimes the grandparents, when they do take care of children, they feel like they are the parents and that this child is mine. And so
Hmm.
they are not honoring that systemic order as well. See, can you see that?
Hmm.
Yes. Or others, sometimes the child feels like, oh, my nanny is my mom. She was the figure for me,
Right.
that figure for me. Or my aunt was that figure for me. No, my mom, no. See? So there is no systemic order there.
Hmm.
And if we don't do reconcile that relationship with our mom, then we cannot connect with love. So we must first recreate this relationship with our mother and heal it. That's why we do this family constellation um, process. And usually, when we do transgenerational work, because that was the case, I had a constellation today, and it was this woman who said, "Yeah, I was with my dad because my mom this and that, so I decided to stay with my dad." And she was kind of having that disconnection from her mother. So I asked her about grandma, and she said, "Well, grandma was an orphan. Her mother died when my when the great grandma, um, no, the child was 2 years old when great grandma died." And this was an experience that was very harsh for this child. She was only 2 years old. The grandma was two, and then the great grandma was, of course, a woman, and she dies. But the thing was that this great grandma was hugging this child.
Mm.
So the memory, listen to this, this was so interesting. The person who was representing grandma says, "I don't know, but I feel so cold, like chill." Well, when this great grandma dies, she was hugging the child.
Mm.
So there is something called the interrupted love in family
Yes.
constellations, where if the mom died or couldn't be present for the child before 6 or 7 years old, then the child disconnects from love. And this was
Mm.
the case. When I asked grandma to come closer to great grandma, she was like, "I want to, but I feel fear that she's going to
Wow.
abandon me
Yeah.
again.
Look how deep it goes.
I cannot trust in her. I really want to, but I just better not."
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't understand why you feel like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
see, and
You
that's the
go through,
psychology
yeah.
of it. That was the psychology of this child who felt that. So as the process was happening during the constellation, finally the great grandma say, "I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you, but I really want to hug you this time." And so the whole scene happened where great grandma hugged grandma. And that was the disconnection of this woman who came to Constellation had with her mother. So as she was seeing that scene, she was already healing her own relationship with mom. Because she said, "I feel compassion for my grandma. And now I can see why grandma couldn't give my mom that love. So mom couldn't give me that love."
Mhm. Very profound.
That was so beautiful to watch. It
And the
was,
field shows that that's an experience, and you will experience it. That's what makes it so powerful.
yes, it is so powerful. Until you don't experience it, you won't know what it is. So we
Mhm.
want to invite you and encourage you to constellate.
Mhm.
Constellate your family system. Constellate what is happening in your life today that is not in order, that
Mhm.
is not you. Believe
Right.
me, believe us, it's not you. It is all in the secrets or in the unresolved memories of your ancestors.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes, yes, yes. All right. So let's continue with the reading. It says this: from the systemic angle, honoring the precedents creates order. Whoever comes first should be honored by those who come after. Our ancestors came before us and we came after. What happens when the roles in the family system switch? When the order is not respected, conflict appears. Let's say it again. Conflict
Appears.
appears. Let's see an example. In the case of an adopted child, the adoptive parents should honor the biological parents, and as they were first, and because of them, the child was born. When a child is adopted, some adoptive parents tend to deny the fact that they are second and that the biological parents are first. Hmm? So this is very common. When adoptive parents don't honor the biological parents, the adopted child, instead of feeling gratitude, might feel disconnection, anger, disapproval, or even blame the adoptive parents for the way he or she feels. In some cases, when a couple hasn't been able to conceive, and this, just listen to this is very important. I forgot to talk about this one. In some cases, when a couple hasn't been able to conceive, they look for adoption as an option to feel their desire for a baby. And so this child, this says here, this adoption could be made out of need, but not love. And this child is going to feel that energy. Also, I'm here to make you happy. That is a big burden. And the child feels this rejection. So that means that I came to life just to make you happy.
Yeah.
Right? So see the difference? So in this case, for example, these parents must constellate first, because what is that gap, that void that they are trying to fill with this child?
Yes.
In order to really give a conscious love to this adopted child. Hmm? It says this: in some cases, when a couple hasn't been able to conceive, they look for, oh, I did say that. They look for adoption as an option to fill their desire for a baby. This adoption could be made out of need, but not love. The child energetically feels that he or she is being used to fill the emotional gaps of the adoptive parents. Hmm? Also, the main source of life that carries love and strength comes from the biological parents. Yes, I forgot to mention this, so let's talk a little bit about that. Energetically, these forces are the most important for the child. Yes. So when a child has been adopted, right? Mom and dad, even though mom wasn't the loving mother this child needed, or dad wasn't that, let's say, strong father or a responsible father or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Life, see, like the original parents had these qualities, let's say. These qualities have been going through life in all systems of life. One thing is that you don't get to acknowledge that because of the situations and experiences that you go through. But those two energies are there, sleep or slept until you, or dormant, let's say, until you get to be aware that they are there. And when they awaken in you, mostly when you get to reconcile that relationship with your parents, then you get to take these two forces, love and strength. Love from your mom, strength from your dad.
Like it's key. Those things are so important.
Yes. And if you don't get to take those two energies, then you're lacking something in life and you're still waiting for someone to give you that. And that doesn't correspond to the adoptive parents. It corresponds for the biological parents, even though they didn't show that, because that energy came like across all transgenerational to us. We have it here. We just must awaken it in us. And take those two forces to be able to love others, love life, reconnect, and recreate a different reality in our lives. So let's say if you are adopted and you didn't know you were adopted, right? Then you're missing something. You have this gap. Probably you are going through sadness or depression, or even feelings of suicide, that you don't want to be here. See? So it's important to understand these ideas, these concepts, to understand the why I'm feeling this way. So it says this: energetically, that these forces are the most important for the child. When the biological parents are honored by the adoptive parents, the child is allowed to receive those forces. See, that you have permission to love your biological parents. This makes the child more adaptable and receptive to taking on the adoptive parents.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it works. That's the order, the process to create order in that family system. In one of my therapy sessions, we constellated a family that had adopted a child. The child, ooh, it's
And
raining.
hard. It's raining hard.
The child didn't know he had been adopted until he was a mature adult. The parents had decided to adopt the boy. This is the case I was talking about. Actually, we already talked about this one, so we can continue.
A
Let's
lot
see.
of great examples in the book so that you
Yes,
can totally understand. That's
there are
why
there are
by the
examples
book.
by
Yeah.
the book. Yes, there are examples here, and there are systemic exercises for you to reconcile your own past and your ancestors' past.
So what's neat about it is like you have the book plus right there inside the book is a workbook
Yes,
to help you through all the experiences you're going through. You can literally go and look for it. Oh, this is what's happening. Go into the book and it'll help you.
yes. So definitely, there is something that we don't want to push you, but if you feel this call of recreating this order and liberating these repetitive patterns from your ancestors, we recommend you to follow these exercises that appear in this book. There are ways to create inclusion. There are ways to create order within the family system. There are ways to release and liberate the secrets of the family. There are ways to reconcile the relationship with mom and dad. There are ways to recreate order with your siblings.
Everything. The
Everything.
words. Because the words are key.
Yes,
The words are key, yeah.
to heal those wounds from
Mhm.
childhood, to understand your psychology. Why am I acting this way, behaving this way? Why do I respond in that way? All of it is here. You read this book, you will understand it all.
It's the best gift to yourself.
Hi, Orion. He came to say
He's
hi.
like, yeah, he's like, buy the book. Buy the
Yes, by the
book.
book. Okay, let's see. Another type of disorder that can develop is due to the absence of one of the parents. When this happens, one of the children, usually the oldest, oh, this is another topic. We can talk about this one. What time is it? It's 6:42.
Already? Wow.
Already. Wow. Let me see if we can.
That's a long one.
Yeah, because it's a long one. Maybe we should just talk about this one next time because this one is, we can develop this information in another way.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm. Yes, let's talk about this one next week. So we're gonna leave it here, right? For now. Yes, we wanted you to understand this order of how recreate order when you have been adopted or when your parents weren't present for you, and how you can honor your parents so you can recreate that order in your family system. So Lourdes is saying it is like Ada. Oh yes, if you haven't seen that series in Netflix, we recommend you to watch it. It's called Another Self,
Oh,
so you can
yeah.
really understand um, family constellations.
That is some powerful. Wow.
Yes,
And it's right there for free in Netflix.
yes, and if you want to understand better what happened there, we made a systemic analysis of the series. It's called Another Self, again in Netflix, and you can watch it here in my YouTube channel as well. Mhm.
In both English and Spanish.
In English and Spanish, yes. It is like Ada who couldn't do the step. She simply could not. Yeah. She's saying, and what does happen when the child is a product of a rape and the mother don't feel connected with the child because remind her of that, of the
That
raping.
of the trauma.
And Sunshine says this, yes, my adopted nephew is from a situation like that. Yes, let's talk a little bit about that one before we close. What
Yeah.
about that?
Yes.
It is like this. If that child was if this woman was abused, we must include the perpetrator. As hard as it sounds, in this work of family constellations and recreating the order, the systemic order in the family, anybody who interferes in your life or in your family system already belongs,
Mhm.
whether it is in a positive or in a negative way. And I'm talking about positive and negative way because we live in a place of duality. Duality only exists here on earth, right? There are other dimensions where, that's not the case, but it is the case where we live. So anybody who affects or interferes in the system or the flow of the system already belongs. So, as hard as it seems, this person should be included because, yes, it is the biological parent.
Yeah. He was the channel. The experience was the channel of life to bring the child in.
Like that. And because this man is mirroring something from the system, meaning that the person who was raped is carrying abuse. And so this man comes to show this woman that I'm going to abuse you so you can see that within your system there is abuse that no one has been able to heal. And
Mhm.
if this woman constellates and reconciles this, can liberate the system from experiencing the same, and also liberating the descendants to go through an experience like that again.
Mhm.
See the importance?
Yes.
Yes, yes. So thank you for bringing that case, Lourdes. And Sunshine, I'm glad that you brought that because she's saying that that's the case of her nephew, her adopted nephew. So yes, and if maybe the parents aren't woohoo. So maybe if the parents aren't able to do that, maybe you, since maybe you are being able to see this information, you can be more awakened and more consciously seeing this, and you can somehow do it. When you do the exercises are here, actually, there's one where you can bring someone who created conflict in your life and how you can reconcile with this person. And maybe you can bring this person, the energy of this person in front of you. Of course, you're not going to bring the person because maybe the person is not in that state of a consciousness to be able to do this exercise, but energetically, just bring this person as an how you guys call it that, Janet? Hologram? A hologram,
Oh, hologram.
like a
Okay.
hologram in front of
Mhm.
you, and you can tell this person, I see you, I recognize you, I see what you are showing me and showing us, right? You belong.
Mhm. In full
And
gratitude.
in full gratitude, with sincerity, I see you belong. You are giving us a gift, a blessing, that as I can release this, I can say, I liberate you, and I liberate myself, and I liberate my system from this. That's one exercise you can do. Hmm?
Mm. Yes. Powerful.
Yes, yes, yes. So I guess I don't know if you have any other questions. We are here with we have some people here. Let me see, and we also have some people here. But I think we mostly spoke about what we wanted to talk about today. Yes. And so we hope you join us again next week.
Please share.
Please share and give us a
Give
like
us a
or
like,
give us a
the
heart.
heart, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Subscribe. We have two channels. Maya Dari del Sol, we have two channels, one in English, one in Spanish. So look for the one that is your language because we see some people here that only speak Spanish and they are trying to understand. We do the Spanish live about the book Alchemy for the Soul in Spanish on Thursdays. Thursdays at 8 p.m. and Fridays is in English at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Now, if you want to know a little bit more about, our institute, if you maybe you have in your heart the desire to serve others through this process of family constellations, we invite you to see our website, systemichealinginstitute.com. And there you will be able to see all the modules of the training program and also the dates. And if you decide to join us, we will be so happy. I believe that at this point in humanity and in that process of evolution, we all need to heal this,
Yes.
the ancestors. This is the reprogramming. The reprogramming happens as we heal that.
Yes.
Most of our conflicts and issues are connected to our family system: finances, health, relationships, love, success, all of it.
You name it,
You
it's
name it.
there.
You can constellate just anything.
Yes,
You just
yes.
you can bring, and it's not about mom and dad. This is about, it's very profound. All the psychology that is involved in here, and how you can really help the system of life heal through your own healing. Yes.
Yes.
So it was an honor serving you tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Yes.
Janet, as
Oh, thank you,
always.
Maya.
I love you, friends.
Yeah. I
And
love this stuff.
yes, so we are so glad that you got to join us tonight, and we hope to see you next
Same time
same time.
next week.
Yes. Also, if you want to get an appointment, you can go to mayadaridelsol.com. That's our website with all of the services that we offer: one-on-one sessions, group sessions. We also have a tribe that meets once a month. Actually, our meeting was yesterday. Yes,
Yes, yes,
it
yesterday.
was yesterday, and it's only one time, once a month. So if you want to register, go to our channel, Maya Ariel Sol, then you can register there. Even though the date is going to be different next month, it just register and you will be getting the information from us.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. So we love you. Mwah. Sending lots of
Thank you,
love and
thank you for
hugs and
coming.
blessings, and we hope to see you next week.
All right, bye
Bye.
bye.
Oh, that's not digital.